Hello and welcome to a new series where we look at Kitcar Marques. And the first subject was mentioned by a viewer, and it's a very nice company to actually start with. And the company is Vincent Cars, created by Martin Vincent. Now, this is a company that actually created some very nice cars. And Martin later stopped producing cars and went on to become a journalist, and he's better known for that. But I think his work as a car designer, car creator, is very much underrated and largely forgotten by the majority of the kit car fold. But I think it's definitely worthy of a mention. So let's go back to the beginning. And the company was created and went public in 1983 with their first product, the Vincent Hurricane. Now, this is again perfectly named because what Martin did was create a GRP, glass reinforced plastic, replacement body for the Triumph Spitfire that basically fitted to the original Triumph chassis using all the original fixing points. The doors used all the internals from the Triumph Spitfire. The Triumph Spitfire windscreen surround was reused, although this is an area you have to check for rust. And that meant that the hood mechanism could be used in its entirety. So it really was a complete rebody job for the Triumph Spitfire. And yeah, it's actually quite an attractive alternative, and the Hurricane is a masterful name. Given the relationship between the Hurricane and Spitfire in World War II, it was the perfect name. Donor cars were basically the Triumph Spitfire, which came handily with its own separate chassis. So you unbolted the body and put the new Hurricane body on in theory. The body acted as a semi-monocoque with the chassis, making a very stiff overall package once it was assembled. The other donor, of course, was the Triumph GT6, and most of the Hurricanes were built with these two options. The straight six engine, 2 litre in the GT6 obviously gave it quite a good performance, although I do remember at Stoneleigh many years ago a bit of a monster of a Hurricane which had a Rover V8 in. That must have been definitely very quick, and I don't know how the rear diff coped, because I know from owning a GT6 myself, the one of the weak points was the rear diff that struggled with the 2 litre straight six. So the extra torque of a Rover V8 must have made it very interesting. Anyhow, a few years after the Hurricane, Martin came along and surprised everybody with a really beautiful car called the MPH, which was a replica of the Riley MPH, which I think was 1934. Anyhow, this was a stunning kit, absolutely gorgeous, using Ford Escort running gear on a brand new chassis, and it was quite a close replica to the original design, and it really was instantly right at the top of the quality scale for 1930s roadsters, and is still extremely highly regarded to this day. The body panels were a mixture of sheet aluminium on the bonnet and GRP, especially for the the rather rounded rear end and the cycle wings. But as you can see from the photos, which belong to the reader that I mentioned earlier, it is an absolutely stunning car, and a classic in its own right to this day. So that was that were the two models that Martin Vincent created, and really both of them stand up in terms of, as a quality product you can use. They're both absolutely fantastic, and the MPH is just a visual work of art. But as I mentioned earlier, Martin decided to give up Kitcar production and move into the field of journalism, and that left the two cars looking for a new home. Now, research got a bit sketchy, but if memory serves me right, I think Niall Johansson of Swindon Sports Cars bought the rights to the models initially, and then they changed hands. I think Tony Dwornik, who was working with Niall Johansson, carried on and has become the manufacturer until his recent retirement of the MPH. Now, the Hurricane passed through a couple more hands before finding a home with Caburn Engineering, a father and son team. Dave and Andy Hitchens were the team in question, Dave being the senior of the two, and is now well into his 70s. And I did give him a call. The company is still theoretically in existence, although they haven't produced a Hurricane kit for a couple of years. Speaking to Dave on the phone, he did say that last Hurricane kit that they produced a couple of years ago was quite challenging for him, and he was sort of waiting to see how Andy felt about carrying on, picking up the baton and carrying on with production. He told me that nowadays most of the people who were buying the Hurricane were people who were restoring a Spitfire and had bought a rather neglected Spitfire to use for spares with a body that wasn't any good, and found themselves with a rolling chassis and wondering what to do with it, and the Hurricane provided the perfect answer. So you ended up with a restored Spitfire and a Hurricane, which you could use all year round and not worry about it getting rusty. Rather a clever idea. It would be nice to think that the Hurricane would carry on in production. It certainly is a model that stands up in terms of it is contemporary in styling with the Spitfire, and is a very nice design in its own right. And if a Spitfire is too far gone to restore, then surely this makes for a very nice alternative. As for the MPH, Tony Dwornik did carry on for many years, built a wonderful reputation for carrying on with the MPH and the quality of the kits that he produced. And until recently, that was very much the case. But a few years ago, after putting an awful lot into keeping the reputation of the MPH right up there, he decided to semi-retire. He does occasionally build a fully built car and sell them through the website, but production of the kits is now largely frozen. So I guess that brings us to the end of the story with the Vincent cars. But I think you'll agree they're both very attractive. Definitely deserve their place in the Kitcar annals as high quality, well designed cars that deserve a little credit. Now, if you've enjoyed this video, please click on the thumbs up so that other people will be told that there's something interesting here. And also, if you could be really wonderful, why not click on the bell, subscribe, and then if you press on all, you'll be notified when new videos go live. And if you've enjoyed this video, which if you're watching to here, I hope you have, then you will find that this is just the first of a series. So you'll be notified when the next one comes along. And believe me, the kit car industry is such a rich and varied industry that there's plenty of stories to tell, and certainly more than I will ever manage in my time available. So there's definitely plenty that's coming down the line, and plenty on the channel already, with over 200 videos in all that you can watch and enjoy. So thank you again for watching, and please take care wherever in the world you are, and we look forward to seeing you next time.